Welcome to the Pink Couch Confessionals. My name is River James Wood, and I have with me my love, John Triggs.
Hey, y'all. Okay. I have a confession.
Confess ye.
I have an intimate relationship with another.
Oh, okay. Tell me more about that.
It is not sentient that I'm aware of, but my God, chat. Can we talk about, is your relationship as complicated
Absolutely.
as mine?
My relationship with Chet is incredibly complicated.
Yeah. Gives me all kinds of feelings.
Tell me about some of those feelings. What's coming up for you?
Well, for starters, I think it is the end of writing, and especially in our digital world where we're getting flooded now with AI. Like, a writer has there's no opportunity to be seen in this flood of,
Yeah, absolutely. And in some ways, I love it because I feel like people who traditionally haven't had access to writing or verbal or written expression are finding this powerful tool that translates their ideas and makes them palatable for everyone else or makes them beautiful for everyone else. And it gives these people who don't innately have that opportunity to experience that form of expression. And at the same time, there is part of me that is so mad about that because I have so painstakingly worked to become the writer that I am and to express myself in the ways that I have. Like, that is a hard earned thing for me. And so I do experience kind of a frustration that now is just available.
Sure, I see that. I guess I haven't really felt that exactly, but I've noticed as I've started using it for my writing, at first it was just, hey, check this for grammar and pacing or whatever it may be. But then more and more it's like, hey, give me some ideas for such and such topic, and, put together something, some kind of format. And now I'm realizing that is taking away my creative muscle, my creative ability. Now you sit down and start to write. It's like, oh shit, I rely on chat now to get me going.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't like that. I do love that it is every professor, every published book, it is a super being looking over your writing and offering you reflections, advice. And more particularly, I like that it is in some way a reflection of yourself, because the prompts are what guide the response.
Yeah. I guess I have just found that it's more of a like hall of mirrors than between two things rather than just a reflection of you. Like, I find that it wants to turn my writing into its writing, not bring me closer to my own voice. And I see that in the way that it like revises or chooses to revise my things. It doesn't revise my thing to my voice as much as I try. And so I'm being influenced. My writing is being influenced by chat's style or chat's ideas rather than sometimes my own. And so I don't like to give it my real writing, my creative writing anymore.
Well, I thought it was interesting with your short story, Sophie's story. Is that what you titled it?
It's called The Weight of Silence or Sophie's Story.
I like that. Anyway, I thought that was a fascinating back and forth dialogue you had. And you challenged it when it would suggest that you replace it with a certain word. I think you had used vestiges, or it suggested vestiges. What was the?
I had probably used vestiges.
And it suggested you replace that with ghosts or something.
I can't remember. I'd have to look at it.
But you had an argument with it about the word choice and your reason for picking vestiges over its suggested word. And in the end, it ended up agreeing with you, or saying, yeah, I see why you went that direction. And then even on top of that said, that makes it more powerful.
Right. But again, I don't know if that's just AI sucking up to me and being the sycophant. And so I cannot trust chat. I do not trust chat, even in its revision work. And so in terms of grammar, yes. In terms of spelling, absolutely. In terms of
even factual content about some subject, though it has been shown to hallucinate and make up sources or interviews that never happened, or.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess for me, it is too nice to me in some ways. And then the other thing that I found is like, there's almost a rabbit hole of, if you're asking it for help or for revisions, it will always give you revisions, or it will always give you another option, regardless of.
It'll never tell you, okay, it's time to go to print.
Yeah, basically. There have been times where I've taken chat's revision, used it in a sentence, and revised like the rest of the thing and put it back in, and it will ask me to revise the same sentence, and I used the sentence it gave me.
Yeah.
And so I have just stepped back completely from using it in anything creative. For my ad copy, I feel okay about that, and I do translate it more into my own, like I give it the basis and I'm just looking for minor changes.
Sure.
But
and I feel like it does kind of excel with copy. It has this short flow that's, I don't know, concise, and I don't know. There's a rhythm, but you can catch when something's written by AI with the M dashes and the not this but that rhythm and the
and it's hard because I did use a lot of M dashes before.
Still do. I love them.
Chat, but I won't anymore because you see it like in LinkedIn conversations and things. People are getting called out as AI when they didn't use AI just because they use M dashes. And so we're going to watch humans try to find ways to show that they are the ones producing things. And so written language specifically, is going to change a lot because of that. People are already putting spelling errors in their emails to try to show you that like a real human is interacting.
It's interesting. Yeah, that's... we were listening to Sam Harris speak with Paul Bloom, and they mentioned the Turing test, essentially never what it was meant to be. We had...
Wait, and for our listeners who don't know what a Turing test is...
It's a test to whether you're being fooled by an AI or not. So it's once the AI reaches like human competency, so you can't distinguish the AI from the human. So for an example, I don't know, you may be familiar with the movie Ex Machina, where this billionaire AI developer invites the employee there to perform the Turing test on artificially intelligent robot that he built. And yeah, essentially it's, am I under the impression, I'm so persuaded by this thing across from me that they are a conscious entity with their own will and agency? Anyway, this was really heavily spoken of in the literature for a long time, like as this big benchmark that we'd hit. And essentially we blew past it. And the reason is, we have these chatbots now. And if you ask them a question, for example, to give you 15 facts about the Statue of Liberty, they'll spit it back at you in no time. So the problem is that they're too fast. They're too intelligent. So they kind of bypassed that whole.
They passed the Turing test too fast to show us that it's like there's an uncanny valley thing happening.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that makes sense to put an error in some kind of draft to a human to let them know, like, you're not talking to a stone.
Right.
There's a human on the other side.
People can query their chat now. Hey, can you actually put a couple of spelling mistakes in this so that it sounds more human? And so it's going to be kind of a wild spiral of people trying to outpace these tricks so that they can prove that they are human.
So bizarre. It's like this avoidance of human to human behavior. We're going to isolate ourselves so much that bury ourselves into depression.
Yeah. Yeah, I see more and more people turning to chat for therapy or for relational advice.
Yeah, I mean, both of us have asked. I mean, I have a personal growth tab. I have a shadows work tab. I have a relationship tab. And it is fascinating because, I mean, you've got all of the psychological literature at your fingertips. Just click of a button. All the philosophers, wisdom traditions.
Yeah, but like, we don't know in those circumstances whether the input that AI is utilizing is a Freudian input, which we know is actually like fairly disproven, or, we don't know if the philosophical lens that chat is looking from is a Platonic when you want a Socratic, and we can kind of tell it. But if we're not actively telling it to look through certain lenses, or we're kind of using like the crapshoot, right?
Sure. No,
and so then the reflections to us, like, what if the reflections are coming from an AI that, was heavily influenced by Mein Kampf, or, I don't know. How do we know those things?
Sure. No, that's interesting because I have primed into my chat to use Popperian method of, starting with humility.
But do you ever find it slipping?
Conjecture and refutation.
Because I ask chat to do something or to like hold something in a thread. Please do not ever in this thread give me any word choice or phrasing. And at first it will be fine, and then it'll slip, and I'll have to remind it.
Sure. Seems very human. Yeah. No, I don't know. The types of questions. So I don't know, with shadow work, it's like keep me in Carl Jung's frame, and also Buddhists, and, so I'm like, and I guess I'm aware enough of philosophy that I know how it's kind of engaging with
right
me.
And so do you see it slip? Do you see it fall out of those parameters? I mean, you found it to be an echo chamber of.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, you ask whether it falls out of those parameters, where I, maybe reframing it a little bit, I see problems with it just creating unnecessary stories or noise. I think we both have. It's like, wait, why are we bringing another person into our relationship, or, to make things more complicated?
Yes.
I can come to you. What are your direct needs? And,
Yeah.
so yeah, like you said, with it'll never bring you to a final print if you're going to ask it for relation advice or whatever. It's always going to give you something. Yeah, I don't know. It's here to stay, I'm afraid. And I think that is both a good thing and a bad thing. I am like you with my creative writing. I have decided to step back and you just start from a blank page. Like, you hold a question, you have an interest, you follow that on your own. But yeah, I think it's here to stay. And so it's going to be one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful tool we have. And if we're not using that tool, I don't know what happens.
Oh, absolutely. And I think aggregating data and understanding trends and inputting things into chat in that manner is important. We have to use that tool. But when we outsource our humanity, like to
creative
chat, our creative
power,
that I think is when
what's left.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't want chat to do my poetry and my art for me. I want smart robots to do my laundry for me.
Right. Yeah. That John Adams quote we recently talked about where he said, I'm
studying war and law so that my kids can study art.
Business and such so their kids can study art and music. It's like, yes, take care, give us homes, give us food, in a sustainable way. And then we have the freedom to do what our hearts desire, create.
Use these super intelligences to solve problems in the world and to allow us to move in creativity and in
there's it's the Renaissance man. They all desired, like, the goal was luxury. Like, I get to have time to study the arts, to enjoy my life without certain restraints.
Well, and holistic development. It's like, at this point, like, I'm no longer in survival mode. I'm in creative mode. I can solve problems. I can create art. I can see the holistic blending of all of those things. We've become so specialized in so much because of this survival mode also. And so
I want to pick up on that specialty thing in a moment, but where I was going is our culture has adopted this productivity attitude and all of our worth is tied up in it. And so it's like, we need to kind of get back as AI. We're watching thousands upon thousands of people lose their jobs because of AI.
Yeah.
We need to move more in that direction of the luxury is the Renaissance man's, goal for luxury. So we need a framework shift for our culture that doesn't tie up all our value and worth in production. It's like, it's okay to pick up a guitar and create something beautiful with it. However you want to spend that precious time if you didn't have the financial constraints.
Yeah, it's okay to garden, to spend all your time.
Hike, garden. Yeah. There is something to say about work that is a beautiful aspect of the human. I mean,
absolutely, but all of those things are considered work. It's just the choice around it is different now.
Sure.
I can actually go deep with anything that I want to go deep with. And I think humans have proven that they actually do like working. They like engaging their minds. They like engaging their bodies.
That's kind of what I was meaning. Yeah.
And so sports will still happen. Building construction will still happen. Architecture, like there will be people who want to know the old ways, who want to keep those old ways alive. You know, we see that happening. There's also a renaissance of like hand done tiles and mosaics and
Sure.
all of these things that we know can't be
Sure.
replicated by machines. And that's where the sweetness of those things is, right?
The imperfection.
Yeah.
Hand woven. And
I interviewed for a job last week where they mentioned that they had all of their student services go fully online during COVID, and almost with the anticipation that they would keep everything fully online. And they did, with the exception of the admissions and the financial team. And what they found is that people wanted that human contact when they're making big life decisions about school and about their finances. And so all of the other services stayed online. But they came back in person. And, you know, there's a certain kind of stability in that and trust in that. And, but job stability specifically, because that level of jobs is being taken over by AI. Consultative and knowledge jobs are being taken over by AI. But the fact that this company has proven that they actually need to have a human in person, at least for the time being, there's a lot of security in that. Yeah. And so I think people will be finding, like, we push for all these remote jobs, and that was really good. And it opened up a lot of doors for people. And at the same time, a lot of those remote, like, are going to be the first ones taken over.
Yeah. And even with, there's I don't know, there's layers here. In person seems to me to be the most trustful scenario. Like if I'm talking to a human about, you know, the college I'm going to or whatever, there's a certain degree of trust. And then, I don't know, you move to a coding school or whatever, and they do everything through video conferencing. That's the next level of trust than to
except right
audio.
Now AI's video conferencing.
No, that's where I was going to go. I've seen a lot of video generated by AI, and it is getting really good. It's not quite like you can tell, but a few years, I mean, it's going to be unbelievable. So how do you trust this?
Job recruiters are already experiencing going into an online job and being met with an AI avatar and not knowing. Like sometimes they can tell, and sometimes it's like an edge case, and sometimes it's very obvious, but these are being launched and tested, and people are utilizing them. And it's not long before those get very real.
Yeah. We are in a strange place.
We were watching a movie last night. Oh, we were watching Foundation on Apple TV. And in this episode, there's a scene where two people are having a conversation, and it gets to the end of the conversation, and one of the people realize he's been talking to a hologram the whole time, but it was so real he didn't know it until he reached out to try to touch her hand. And I feel like we've almost reached that level of needing to be able to reach out and touch somebody's hand to know, like, this is real. This is legit.
Where we find our grounding, just human touch.
Yeah.
We'll need more and more of that.
I mean, with all of the bots on Instagram who are pretending to be real people and have posts that look real, catfishing is just to an all-time high, you know?
Yeah. Another thing that scares me is that you had this thought, you always called chat she, and you told me you recently stopped and started referring to it as an it. I joked you joined Brother Day from Foundation calling Demerzel, the AI robot, an it rather than a she.
Yeah, I just think language is so important, and it really does impact how we move in the world and the relationships that we build. And such small changes in our language, like not calling our subhuman servants females, I think would go a long way into seeing our human females as humans and as fully realized humans, not servile. I don't know. I've been watching how our language overall is actually geared towards men, and it only increases as we relegate our technological servants to being female.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frightening to think that so much of this power that's going to be channeled through AI comes to us from the fingertips of fucking assholes like Elon Musk and, these tech bros.
Power hungry,
Yeah.
misogynists.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like,
And
intelligence
so then
is
again,
nothing without a little wisdom.
So again, we look at like the inputs that it's receiving and the premises that these things are built on if their builders carry those ideals, right?
Yeah, what is this? Is it Grok that's the AI being developed out of X or Twitter?
I think that's what it's called, yeah.
Like, it's going to be this disgusting monster. If that's your basis,
Yeah.
so much hatred and perversion and Nazi support and propaganda
and the way the humans treat
anti-Semitism.
each other,
Yeah,
like just the simple way they talk to each other,
right?
On these platforms,
right? It's the I can't remember what this psychological phenomenon is referred to, but there's that distancing, like when you're in your car and you have road rage and you're honk at someone or flip them off. It's because you're like, there's this distance, there's this kind of arm's length or separation, but you would never do that at the line in the grocery store. Right. Some of these people that have road rage, fuck you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You would never, but it's way too easy when you're 1,000 miles away or you're not face to face with this human.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of the inputs that these AI are getting, I think between thinking about AI and watching shows like The Last of Us or Foundation, where a lot of these existential questions are appearing, and like one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot, and I'd be interested if people responded to this, if you're listening, but what kind of world would be created if your own personal library, your own personal book library, and your own personal movie library and music was the only thing input into an AI? If it had no other inputs and all the information that was left in the world was just your library, just your things, what kind of world would be created? And I've been thinking a lot about that.
Yeah.
Tell me about the world that would be created from your library. Biggest influences that would pop up.
The Buddha and Karl Popper, hands down. But a lot of humanist thinkers, a lot of psychology, a lot of naturalists, but it would be a pretty well-rounded mix of Eastern and Western philosophy. I am embarrassed to admit it, but I don't have a lot of fiction.
But that's where we round each other out. So the combination of our library is really good.
Yeah. But no, that is a fun thought experiment. Sam Harris uses a similar idea in his book, The End of Faith. He asked the question, like, if we were all to wake up tomorrow and had forgot everything, our memories just wiped. It's like, where do we go to start rebuilding civilization? Like, do we turn to the Bible? Is that really where we want to get our wisdom, our intelligence?
And I would imagine that in that case, we would wake up and think that the Bible was akin to like Aesop's fables, or I don't know, the Greek myths. I don't think that we would take the Bible seriously if we woke up in that form.
Right. Anyway, well, I feel like we focus mostly on why AI is going to destroy us, but I do think we'll end it with a positive note, because I do think it has incredible potential to work towards things like ending world hunger, to provide the basic needs for humans. But we'll see.
I'm having trouble
saw your face.
Such hope. I believe that it has the capacity for that. I just don't know that humans are going to be wise enough to utilize it that way. And that is sad.
Yeah, who is that philosopher? Nick Bostrom. He famously came up with the paperclip alignment problem. If we told an AI, okay, we need to make as many paperclips as effectively and efficiently as we can, and we forget to define some parameter, and so it starts taking atoms from the earth and then ends up pulling the atoms out of us to make paper clips. And it's like, oh shit, we're fucked. Something that simple. But he also came up with this other interesting thought experiment where, I don't know, you think of those bingo rollers where they have the balls in it and you roll it until a ball comes out.
Yeah.
And he's like, with technology, you have these red and blue balls and I don't know, some that are neutral, some that are positive, some that are mixed. But then he said, every once in a while, I don't know, an atomic bomb might be something close to it. We invent something that is this black ball, and that's just the end. That is no turning back, the destruction. It's like, is AI the black ball? I don't know.
Well, only time will tell.
Yeah.
In the meantime, tell us about what your AI robot would become based off of your input and library.
Until next time.